Good morning, everybody. As usual, I really hope and prayers all of you physically healthy, mentally happy, also very happy with your families and friends and colleagues. So before we actually start the precious Garland, so we will discuss a little bit, we will talk a little bit in a few important things. I often remind you the studying Dharma is not like our culture, it is not our tradition. The studying Dharma is we study for many years with the knowing these are very important, or important for ourselves, important for others, important for all sentient beings. In order to be important the Dharma for ourselves, the first we need to study, the most important, we need to practice it. So when we practice Dharma sincerely, the first we can achieve the inner happiness. So when we have an inner happiness, so we control most of the disturbance thoughts. So when we are able to control the disturbing thoughts, then we can teach the Dharma for our friends and relatives. Then when our inner peace, become very strong, very stable, then slowly we can explain, we can talk Dharma with the rest of the people. Therefore, the first important thing, we need to study, then we need to practice it. Otherwise, studying Dharma is become our habit, and it's become look like our culture. So this always we need to remember. The studying Dharma is not my culture, not my tradition. Nobody forced me to study Dharma. I'm studying Dharma for many years, which is very important for this life, very important for me, important for others, important for all sentient beings. The second important thing is everybody, I think, happily accept. Yes, studying Dharma is not my culture, it's not my tradition. It is very important. So we need to practice Dharma. The second important is, so when we think about how to practice it, then what Buddha said, we always need to observe, we always need to watch our actions, all the actions. So when we observe our actions, then we're going to realize the mechanic or the motivation behind all the actions. So when we realize the motivations, the mechanic, the important source, then we need to reflect which is good for me, which is not good for me, which is good for others, which is not good for others. So based on knowing the bad and good motivation, then we always try to generate the positive motivation. So when we always generate the positive motivation, then gradually all the negative motivation going to decline. So this is, we call, a law of the nature. Then after we realize, oh, this is good motivation, this is motivation, then we need to study more, precisely. So what are the causes and conditions behind the good motivation, behind the bad motivation? Then all the motivation is a positive, all the motivation are positive. Behind the positive motivation must have a kindness, tolerance, love, compassion, forgiveness. So when we analyze what are the causes and conditions to have the bad motivation, all the bad motivation is triggered by attachment, ego, pride, delusion, illusion, so and so. Then still we really, study more deeper way, then what are the causes, condition, what are the trigger to arise, have all the negative thoughts, attachment, ego, pride, jealousy, so and so, then we're going to realize in the deep down, in the underline, there's a ignorance. Also, when we study what are the actual cause and condition to have, kindness, compassion, tolerance, forgiveness, then we're going to realize all of them triggered by wisdom. The wisdom is not talking the fine wisdom. If you are a very wise person to care yourself, care others, then we need to generate, we must always have the positive motivation triggered by all the positive thoughts. If you really wish, all human beings, be happy, free from the suffering, then also first we need to cultivate we always need to cultivate the positive motivation triggered by all the positive thoughts. All the positive thought, drive by the wisdom. Then our all actions going to be positive actions. Whether you're in the office, whether you're in the hospital, wherever you are. So you always have the positive thoughts, positive motivation, then positive energy, then all the problems are on us. Even though, the doctors and nurses, really inform us, you have only 3 days. We're never going to have a regret. We're not going to, worry. We're not going to have a worry for death. So we are slowly, maybe we can have a very excited mind to leave this world. Therefore, the study Dharma is not study as a culture and habits. Although studying Dharma is not for having a lot of Dharma, not only for having a lot of Dharma knowledge. So when we generate positive motivation, when we try to have all the time the positive thoughts, then we can have a lot of obstacles to disturb the positive motivation, always disturb into the positive thoughts. So when we study all the disturbance around us, the first thing we need to realize, all of them is there, but all the problem around me, any kinds of problem, family problem, health problems, financial problems, relationship problems, weather problem, any kinds of problem around us are impermanent. They're never going to stay with me permanently. Comes and goes and come. The problem is never goes permanently. One day, they will come back. They will come back doesn't mean the same problem come again. We will have a lot of new problems. When the new problem comes, also we must think these new problems will going to disappear because impermanent. Therefore, every day we need any kinds of problem we are having, we need to reflect on impermanent. Then what about how we can really free from the missing, free from the separation, because someone have a very loving parents, very loving husband, very loving friends, colleague, someone pass away. Then how we can really free from the sadness to reflect on impermanent. So that we must think. So right now we have seen this, the separation. Actually, since we, came together as a parents and children, when we came together as a colleague and friends, since we are met, we are already naturally be a, separation. So we have to think, so they are impermanent. We never, try to realize, we haven't realized impermanent. So today we have seen, I saw this problem. Therefore, meditate on impermanent. Then when we really engage in our practice, then many people think that, oh, you do the serious Dharma practice. Suddenly we think, oh, I need to set up, beautiful altar. If you could, please, very important. If you don't have a place to set up in a big altar, then you just simply, you must have a, image of the Buddha Shakyamuni. Whether you follow the Hinayan, practice, Mahayan, Vajrayan, whatever, if you consider I'm Buddhist, you must have an image of the Buddha Shakyamuni. Doesn't matter, it is statues, it is painting, it is picture, it is symbol. You must have an image of the Buddha to remember the actual Buddha. The second, so when we practice doesn't mean, I said the last week, practice doesn't mean I ask you to recite mantras. It doesn't mean I ask you to do a lot of chanting. Yes, recitation, mantra, chant all the chantings. These are very important. But those are the not actual ultimate dharma. Can reduce the negative thoughts, can minimize the negative motivation, can minimize the trigger of all the negative motivations. Is help us to relieve sudden obstacle for the tending. But in the studying, so recitation, chanting, this thing never going to eliminate, cannot eliminate the root of the samsara, cannot eliminate the trigger of the negative motivation, cannot eliminate all the negative actions. Doesn't mean you just sit, somewhere comfortably. Then you just suddenly you reflect the actual meaning, the meaning of the Buddha teaching. First, impermanence. Me, impermanence. My families, friends, my belongings, everybody are impermanence. That means we are actually, having a long racing thoughts end of the life. Someone reached a bit earlier, someone reached a bit late, someone reached there a bit faster. Anyways, one day, everybody have to reach to the end of the life, end of this life. So then when you reflect this kind of thing, then we definitely can control our attachment. There's no point to attach, so strongly to the things. There's no point so strongly attach our mind towards someone. One day, somehow we're going to apart. Also, so if you really reflect on the impermanence and the death, then you can control your anger. You think, there's no much point to argue with my families, my colleagues and friends. We never know, when we need to leave this world. Also, when you reflect on impermanence, also very easy to control your, attachment to your belongings. So there's no point to, have so many things. When I live, I cannot bring any things. Nobody can go with me. So only me have to solve all the problems. So second, we need to learn how to do the proper motivation. So proper meditation. Then, so when we do meditation, yes, people first asking, the meditation posture. Yes, in the Asian country, particularly like Tibet, like China, like Mongolia, I think most of the Asian country, like Thailand, Sri Lanka, we have, culture, the custom to sit, the lotus posture sitting. Now people, have becoming more modern, that people have a habit to sit on the chair, sit on the sofa. Particularly the people who are born in the Western country, they really don't know how to sit in the lotus posture. Therefore, the sitting position is not, that important. Most important, you sit comfortably, physically comfortably. Then when you meditate on any object, impermanence, make sure your mind is fully focused on impermanence, no excitement, no kind of, sleepiness, sleepiness mind. That means your mind have to be very alert on impermanent for 1 minute, like 10, 20, maybe half hour. Then you just rest. After meditate on impermanence for like 20 minutes, then you need to analyze how do you feel. Also, when you look at your belongings, when you look at your family, how do you feel? So your attachment is becoming bit weaker or a bit stronger. Definitely, you're going to be a bit weaker. So therefore, so it is very important. We must care each other. We must care our families and friends and colleagues, neighbors. Particularly if you are like married, you must care your wife, you must care your husband, you must care your children. When you care each other, make sure you're not really, building. Make sure you are not generating so strong attachment. Generating attachment, generating love and compassion is totally different. The more you generate, the more you have a strong attachment, then the more you have an argument and fighting. The more you have argument and fighting, the more chance you're going to have a breakup. Therefore, the relationship or friendship whatever kind of we name, everything we must build up based on pure love and compassion. The friendship, relationship, your family, friends, whatever kind of, friendship related relationship you have, must build based on the pure compassion. Because reason number one, the relationship, the friendship will last kind of longer. Also, we can say can be last until we died. Reason number two, if you have a kind of habits to build, to cultivate pure love and compassion, you are building the solid foundation to generate bodhicitta. So this is the second part. So, first, make sure that our studying cannot be like our culture. Second, make sure whatever you learn, you need to practice. Practice doesn't mean only recitation, chanting. We must do all of them. The most important, we need to do meditation. So when we do meditation, make sure your mind is fully alert. Be alert while you are meditating on it. This is the, like a third one. Then the fourth one, because this generally like that, particularly now we are in the 21st century, we are very easy to go and come back. Also, we are very easy to have access to meet different masters, different teachers, different gurus, different lamas. So meeting friend, meeting like a, meeting guru or lama rinpoche is totally different. When you're meeting a friend, maybe you have some kind of, simple discuss about your family and friends, your business, or here there, having simple lunch and dinner, then finish. Then you can say, okay, maybe we can have a lunch another time. So when we meet a lama, rinpoche, geshe, whatever, we are not going to meet as a friend. So we need to meet him or her to receive the proper instruction or proper teaching, the proper guidance, how to overcome, my problems, the emotional problems and the physical problem. Particularly, you're going to seek advice how to overcome anxiety, how to overcome, depression, how to overcome anger, attachment, so and so. Therefore, when you're going to meet a lama, rinpoche, whoever, if you going to meet, just pay respect, it's okay. You can meet anybody. So when you're going to meet someone for seeking advice from him or her, you have to be very careful. It's like going to see a doctor. If you meet the wrong doctor, the doctor will give you the wrong prescription, the wrong medicine. Finally, so through the wrong prescription, wrong medicine, it costs to your life. But likewise, if you meet, wrong, unqualified, like a teacher or master, guru, whatever we name. So if you meet the wrong kind of, like a spiritual, namely spiritual master, then there's a dangers to receive the wrong prescription, the wrong medicine. Then we try to apply the Dharma for few weeks, few years. At the end, it costs to your life. Means you totally ruin your life. You totally ruin your, faith and belief. Therefore, the last one is important. You know whom you're going to see, what kind of teaching he or she is going to give. If all the teaching is accordingly, Buddha teaching is kind of, just fantastic teaching. And also we have one problem. The qualified master and teacher, spiritual master, when they give the pure teaching, people don't like it because teaching is so boring. The teaching is so difficult to practice. But the unqualified teacher, the wrong teacher, give you the fantastic things. Okay, you recite this mantra for like a few weeks, you're going to be a Buddha. You feel, wow, it's so easy, it's so powerful. I want to follow this master. You don't have that simple teaching to be achieving Buddhahood. Also, we don't have the proper teaching, which is not accordingly Buddha teaching. The teaching is not accordingly, the Buddha teaching, the teaching, the prescription, the instruction is totally wrong. So this I want to say beginning of our class. So today we study the rest of the verses in the chapter number 3. So I need to use the soft copy. The stanza number 276. Also repeat this one. 276, the chapter number 3. You should always analyze well everything before you act. You should always analyze well, not just analyze well analyze everything before you act. Everything. Dharma, you need to analyze. Meeting a Lama Rinpoche, you need to analyze. Also, food and drink, buying things, talking to someone, whatever action you need to act. Before you act, we must, analyze well. So this, the 2 line, you can apply for any kinds of, action. Even though some of you like to take, like alcohol every evening. So before you drink, you analyze well how much you should eat, where you should stop. Also, when we're going to have a big party, in the party there's all kinds of lot of varieties of food. Also, we're going to meet all kinds of people. Before you eat all kinds of food, you must analyze. If this food is good for me, good for my health or not? Talking to this person is good for me or not? You need to analyze. If you act, based on analyzing well, you never ever have a regret. Many times we have a strong regret, disappointment. So we say something, we did something, we have done so many things without well analyze. Then end through seeing things correctly as they are. So when we analyze, there's so many different levels of analyzing. First, in our daily life. Second, little bit more like hidden types of things like impermanence and death and karma, triple gem things. Also, emptiness. Therefore, the third and fourth line, and through seeing things correctly as they are. As they are. So we cannot see things as they are through our naked eyes. So we need to do analyzing. So we need to think, very often how things coming to exist. How things exist. So when you analyze how the thing, exists. This fun, gradually we could see, things correctly. We can see things correctly as they are. Then do not put full reliance on others. So when you act, well analyze, based on the well analysis, you're never going to have a regret. People cannot really, pinpoint your faults because you act based on well analysis. Also, we hear something, my neighbor having some problem, my neighbor having some interference with someone. You hear, so without analyzing, if you share the news to other, finally the news was fact. Then people really, pinpoint your faults. Do not put full reliance on other. Though so impermanence, 277, through this practice, your realms will be happy. A broad canopy of fame will rest in all directions, and your officials will respect you fully. Now, in this teaching, actually particularly give to the king. So if you act, based on well analyzing, through this practice, your kingdom will be very happy. Even though, for example, the king need to give a punishment to the crime person. So he need to analyze well. Then, so if he become very wise, how the king can give punishment, then there's no any lot of argument and fighting. Then your kingdom will be happy. Same thing we have to say, through this practice, through the analyzing practice, your family will be happy. Your friends and colleagues will be happy. Then a broad, canopy of the fame. That means if you always well analyze, then act with the well analyzing, then people always say, oh, he or she is a really good person, means broad canopy of the fame. They will, rest in all directions, and your official will respect you fully. So we are not a king, but still all your family, always respect you. All your friends and colleagues always respect you because you act correctly. You say correctly. Whatever you say is always correct. That means people always respect you. Then the 278, the cause of the death are many. Those of the staying alive are few. Those too can become cause of the death. Therefore, always perform the practice. So it doesn't matter you are a king, you are a very famous king, still, we have a lot of causes and conditions of the death. Therefore, cause of the death are many. So when you wake up early morning, if you reflect, the cause of the death are many. Is many is the only one area, okay, then we can avoid to go there. It's not like that. The cause of the death are many. The cause of the death are everywhere. Everywhere. Now, I think most of us stay in room. The room can be collapsed. The ceiling can be collapsed. Because last month I saw in the news, one of the Singapore family, the couple went out. The nanny was in the house is a baby. The whole ceiling collapsed. So therefore, the cause of the death are many. Also, we need to add some words. The cause of the death are everywhere, every step. When you go MRT, when you go by bus, when you go on the bus, when you go in the car, whatever, all can be, cause of the death. Those of the staying alive are very few. Actually, we really cannot say this really can save your life. Very few, even though the few cause of the, life staying, alive can become cause of the death. Master Nagarjuna remind him, you are a king, but one day you are going to die. Because there are so many causes, conditions of the death. Therefore, always perform therefore always perform the practice. There again, always practice the Dharma. So when we practice Dharma, means the first we need to reduce, control all the negative thoughts. So while we are doing meditation, we're going to accumulate a lot of the positive actions. Also, we're going to have a very lot of the positive karma. Then when the death comes, so we can bring all the positive actions. Also, we can bring all the experience of how reduce the negative thoughts. This means, one hand, you are very poor with the material things. In the other hand, you are very rich with the spiritual things. Therefore, always perform the practice. If you have performed the practice, the mental happiness which arises in the world and in yourself, it most favorable. So if you always practice Dhamma, if you always control your negative thoughts, you always act positively, if you always act with the well analyzing, there's no any problem externally, internally. Therefore, the mental happiness which arises in the world and if in yourself, it most favorable. Therefore, the mental happiness is very important for you, is very important for everybody. Even though the simple animals, they don't have a dharma, they don't know anything about Triple Gem, they don't have any idea, for next life. They also always wish, have a strong desire to have a happiness. Through the practice, you will sleep happily and will awake happily because your inner nature will be without defect. Even your dream will be happy. If we have this kind of life, how much we will be happy. Okay. And will awake happily, will sleep happily. Most of us cannot sleep happily. Before we sleep, when we put our head on the pillow, we keep thinking all the problems. We're reflecting all the problems, then worry, scary, insecure things. We cannot sleep happily. If we sleep within this kind of, the negativity, we're never going to have a happy sleeping. We're never going to have a good dreaming. And we'll awake happily. So we sleep, based on, we then reflect on all the nasty thing. If we cannot sleep well, when we awake, also suddenly remember all the worries, all the problems. We cannot awake happily. Then you can say the reason is here. Because your inner nature will be without defect. So if you have a kind of always practice Dharma, then there's no any kind of cause and condition to arouse unhappiness. because inner nature will be without defect. Then even your dream will be happy. If you change this words to another way, through no practice, let's say practice, you won't sleep happily. You won't awake happily because your inner nature with defect. Even your dream will be not happy. So you should not think, then how I can do my daily walk? I need to practice Dharma. You walk well your daily walk with the Dharma. You can practice Dharma well with your daily walk. I said a few times, let's say you have a very simple job, cleaning like a kind of MRT, or cleaning the coffee shop, cleaning the food court, collect all the plates and tray. You just think when you reach there today, I will serve all the people who come here for drink and food. When people coming to the food court, you must think, wow, I'm so happy today. Many people coming for food. I must clean well. I must collect all the plates respectfully. I mean, you are walking with the Dharma. Dharma is always with you. Then your monthly, your daily, the salary will come. You don't need to worry. You walk in the office, which office, whichever office. You might think I walk this office to benefit this company. Through this company, many people can get a lot of benefits. Again, you are walking with the Dharma. Dharma is always with you for the 24 hours. There's no, contradiction, doing your daily job, practicing Dharma. Lesson on serving your parents was intense. And also, I said, we have some people, some of friends, they are very religious. They really believe in Dharma, follow Buddha teaching, Buddha, but they are not really happy with their parents. Therefore, here look at it. Intend on serving your parents. Respectfully to the principle of your lineage. Using your resources well, patient, generous, with kindly speech, without diversiveness, and the truthful. So this means is actually teaching us how to practice Dharma. First, you have a good intention to serve, serving your parents. You cannot take care of your parents. You don't have a really pure love and compassion to your parents. How we can have a love and compassion towards all sentient beings? We cannot. Verbally, you can say, I practice compassion, love, but you don't have a love for your parents, you should not say. Then respectfully to principle of your lineage, it's not lineage, it's talking Dharma lineage. For example, you are living in the society, you are living in the country, in a nation. If nation has a good leader, if you have a good person who takes care of your area, we must respect to the person. Using your resources well, we need to know how to use our resources well. Then we need a patient, we need generosity, with a kindly speech, When we say something, say with the compassion, say with the love. Without diversiveness and truthful. Through performing such a discipline for one lifetime, you will become a monarch of the God. Therefore, we need to practice ethical discipline for one lifetime. And the next life, you will reach to the higher realm, very particular area. Where upon even more, so you will be monarch of the gods. Therefore, absorb such as practice. That means practice ethical discipline. Even 3 times a day of offer 300 cooking pots of the food do not match portion of the merit in one instant of love. Right? You offer 3 times of food, which is like 3 big 300 like big pot of food. Let's say most of you are in Singapore. Let's say every day you offer 300 big pot of delicious food every day. Of course, you can accumulate a lot of merits. You can benefit from many people, but does not match a portion of the merit in one instant of life. Just one instant, you generate pure love for a short moment. Then the merit which is you accumulate through offering 300 big pots of food for others, you cannot match. You can accumulate more greater merit instant in one instant of love, then compassion, then bodhicitta. That means here what we need to know. That means there's 2 ways I can accumulate merit. One is through the material things. Second is through your developing your mind, which is better. Yes, through developing your mind as alive and compassion is much better than through the material things. Through the love, you have a pure love all sentient being. You are not liberated, though you practice love for whole lifetime. You are not liberated. You will attain the 8 good quality of love. Then God and human will be friendly. Even non-human will protect you. Or you will have the mental pleasure and many physical pleasure. Poison and the weapon will not harm you. Without terrifying, you will attain your aims and be reborn into the world of the Brahma. So, if you cannot achieve Buddhahood in this, this lifetime, even though you practice love for whole life, but you will have all those benefits. If your causes sentient being to generate the altruistic aspiration to the enlightenment and make it firm, you will always attain the altruistic aspiration to enlightenment, firm like the monarch of the mountain. Then, now you need to know the order. First, we practice Dharma. There's a many different way. Mainly, you practice pure love. If you have a pure love and compassion, then you can achieve bodhicitta very easily. If you cause this sentient being to generate the altruistic aspiration to enlightenment and make its frame generate bodhicitta, then bodhicitta try to be stabilized. Make sure you won't degenerate. Then you will always attain an altruistic aspiration to enlightenment, always wish to be Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Frame, the bodhicitta have to be very frame, like a monarch of the mountains, very big, solid, heavy mountain, like the Mount Meru. Through faith, now it's a new, sentence for us. Through faith, you will not to be without leisure. Through good ethic, you will move in God. transmigration, God transmigration. Through becoming familiar with the emptiness, you will attain detachment from all phenomena. Now he's talking about 3 practices. Practice the faith, practice ethical discipline, practice the wisdom or emptiness. If you have a really pure faith, you will not be without leisures. If you have a really pure faith, this life, the next life, you never born into lower realms. If you practice the good ethic, not just one day, continuously, good ethic, you will moving into the God transmigration, and you will born into higher realms. But these 2 practices not enough for us to free from the samsara. Then we need to practice emptiness. Through becoming familiar with the emptiness, you will attain detachment from all phenomena. So therefore, practice the faith. There's a general faith. Then practice ethical discipline, good ethic, be good, good ethic. Then the important one, you're totally familiar with the emptiness. Through practice of emptiness, you will attain detachment from all phenomena. Simply, you just imagine, if you're totally detached with all phenomena, how much we will be happy. Today, your head is free from the, like a rope. Your hands are tied with the ropes. Your hands are free from the rope, and your legs and other parts of body tied with the ropes. Change. Therefore, you cannot really free from the the problem. If we totally become detachment with all from all phenomena, then look like you're just free bird, freely flying all direction. You're just free from the nest, like the trap, the flying everywhere. If you are totally become very detachment, then you stay in the very simple place. You are very happy. You don't have attachment with the luxury life. So detachment can achieve through familiarity with the emptiness. Through not worrying, you will be attain mindfulness. Through thinking, you will attain intelligence. Through respect, you will be endowed with the realization of meaning. Through gardening the doctrine, you will become wise. Through making the hearing and giving of the doctrine be obstructed, you will company with Buddhas and will quickly attain your wish. Now is very important our daily life. Through not weaving, your mind have to be very stable. Just focus on one, on one object. Then you will attain mindfulness. Mindfulness. If you have a good mindfulness, you are quite good in mindfulness. Then a lot of worry. You're going to be free from a lot of worries. Because you have just one thought, which is important for you. You never, thought other thing which is not important. Through not wearing, you will attain mindfulness. Through thinking, you will attain intelligence. Thinking doesn't mean the nasty thinkings. Think how thing exists. Do the proper analysis. How thing exists. How thing is going, why is happening, why is going to happen. Do a lot of analysis. Think more closely. Then you will know the actual truth. Then you attain intelligence. Through respect, you will be enrolled with the realization of meaning. This one I think a little bit incorrect. Sembra chepe ludu kurti chepe tontol then. I think this is quite direct translation. How come the 32? So today is Sunday. The Sunday actually the 9 p.m. T sub on the 8:30. Okay, through respect, you will be endowed with the realization of meaning. I think there's two kinds of meaning. If you really respect your teacher who really teaching you, then you will be endowed with the realization of meaning. Second, if you have a pure respect to the like a Dharma book, then you will realize the meaning. There's two kinds of meaning can be there. Through guarding the doctrine, you will become wise. Through guarding the doctrine, you will become wise. Therefore, you have to what you call not maintenance. There's one word in English I cannot remember. Not maintenance. Adopt. Remember in the intermediate way the root. Adopt and anyway. Through making the hearing and giving. That means hearing the teaching and giving your resources to benefit others, giving of the hearing and the giving of the doctrine be unobscurated. So if you listening teaching, reflect on the meaning, meditate on it, so you will be free from the obscuration. That means unobstructed. You will company with Buddha. Therefore, pure faith. Then, pure faith, practice pure ethics, meditate on emptiness. Then, how to achieve mindfulness on emptiness, thinking or reflect on how things exist, you become intelligence. Respect to the teacher, respect to the teaching, you will realize the meaning. Through guarding the doctrine, you will become wise. Then you will be company with Buddhas and will quickly attain your wish. And therefore, those are. Okay, the electricity has gone. I will use my mobile. Hello? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes, we can hear you, Geshe.
Okay, thank you. Through the non-attachment, you will achieve the meaning of the doctrine. Through not being miserable, your resources will increase. Through not being proud, you will become the chief of the respected. Through enduring the doctrine, you will attain the retention. Through giving the 5 essentialists, you will not fatten to the fattened. You will not be harmed by the any demands, and will become the best of the. Okay, so this thing. So next time we will finish the rest of the sentence. We will move to the chapter 4. So until for the next Sunday, everybody, go through the chapter 3 to complete all the readings and try to understand. If you have a doubt, if you need more explanation, please feel free to ask question. The next Sunday morning will be more Q&A for any kinds of topic. Okay, so the electricity has gone. So also 9 o'clock, I need to go at meeting. So I will stop here. So we continue the afternoon class.